Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 340 of a year of change. Take two, I should say. I did something really stupid. I started recording this quite a while ago, actually. Got 7 minutes in. Got distracted, had to restart everything because the cat was being annoying. So I thought, okay, I'm going to restart everything off. Came back and went way over. Like over half an hour because of what I wanted to talk about. Finished everything off, said it was great, things are good, went out, grabbed a drink, came back in, and thought, okay, I'm going to sit and edit the video that I did not fucking record. I didn't hit record when they came back the first time. Damn it. So I sat here for half an hour talking to no one, not even recording. So I was recording sound, I think. I don't remember I was recording sound. So anyway, yeah. So I'm starting all over again. On the plus side, though, I know what I need to say now. I won't be babbling. Well, I'm still going to be babbling all over the place. But I know what I need to say, so it won't be half an hour. That's good. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here and repeat myself what I said for the past half hour. But it'll be a little more succinct. It'll be a little more coherent. Never mind. Forget the fact I said that. Because I know what I need to talk about now. So, I figured you would like that little behind-the-scenes intro as to the wonderful world that goes on behind here. What I originally wanted to talk about, what actually got me started talking about this, was for a long time I've been wanting to just sort of get back and get sort of caught up with a lot of the videos that have been put out there by the different YouTubers that we've met over the year. And I mean, I tend to follow 2 or 3 of them quite a bit because it's generally they have, a video every week. So I'll watch those, and then, when something pops up from one of the other people, then I go and I watch that. But there are some that I have sort of fallen by the wayside that have started up again, and I haven't been able to catch up. So I wanted to sort of go through and see where people stood. And I realized that we've added 30 different people throughout the course of the year. And not all of them have stayed with us to the end, which is kind of sad. But there are some that have started out really strong, and they're still just... There are some that started out months after I did and just have plowed right through me. They've lost, over 150 pounds. They're doing really, really well. That's Obese Undone, if you want to go take a look there. Not the... I was going to say, I was going to say not the fat guy. Not the big guy. He's been walking forever, and he's quickly catching up. His pace is outdoing mine. So there are some people that have come back as well. Miss K All The Way has come back. Death by Polka Dot has come back. So there are people that have sort of gone away and then come back. They're starting in again, and they're having some success and things like that. And then there are others that I've looked at that, aside from the first couple of videos that they did, they haven't continued on with it. And part of me wants to say, you know what, I really hope that they just found something that's working for them, and that maybe this wasn't for them. But I do know that there are quite a few of them, because we've all been there, where it didn't work. And we went back to our old ways, and I'm sure that some of them have done the same thing. And that's sort of what got me started talking about this. Because the best way to explain this really is, because, when we first started doing this, it was really a matter of saying, okay, well, here's my goal. Really lofty goals at the beginning. I wanted to lose 150 pounds, which is certainly not going to happen. But the main goal, the weight loss has always been a part of it, but as things progressed and the series evolved, it was more along the line of, we need to just sort of change. Not necessarily, here's the end goal, this is the weight that we have to be at the end of a year. We have to have, this much body fat, and blood pressure has to be here. We didn't have really hard set goals that way. A lot of it was really just a matter of saying, okay, well, we need to, for me anyway, I need to stop eating a week's worth of food in an entire day. That's a big one that has happened. I need to cut back on, the salt and the sugar, and just change the way that I respond to food and get out of this horrendous rut that I had been in. And what's odd is that this has actually worked for me. If you had told me a year ago, it said, because I've tried everything. All of us at some point, we've all said that. I've tried everything and nothing has worked. I mean, we've had some successes with some things, but in general, for whatever reason, we stopped doing it. A lot of it, I think, is just because things sort of get away from us. Either the pace gets too quick, or we stumble a couple of days and then we beat ourselves up because we aren't following through like we should be. But we've all tried so many different things, and it's just sort of dumb luck that I found something that actually does work for me. If you had said a year ago, you know what? The only way you're going to lose weight is, number one, you're going to need to cut the amount of food that you eat down to about 15% of what you're eating right now. You're going to need to track every last bite of every meal that you're eating. You need to track everything, the amount of food, all the liquids, even your coffee. You're going to have to track everything. You're going to need to start exercising pretty much every day. And on top of that, you're going to need to go in a public forum and show people how fat you are, the struggle that you're going through. You're going to need to talk about some really embarrassing shit. There's simply no way I would have done it. It's so far removed from anything that I would ever want to do. If they said, but you'll start losing weight, I would have called bullshit on it. Because when I first started out, I was like, okay, well, this is, maybe this will work as well. But there was never a moment when it was like, this definitely, I know 100% is going to work. I mean, we've always said that about everything that we've done, but it's never really gotten to that point, because in our heads we think, I got to try something else. I'm tired of being fat. But I've tried my best to try to get this so that it's at a very, very slow pace, because at the end of the year, our main goal was just to be an improvement over where we were. So that we were active, we were eating healthier, and that we could, resist a lot of those, oh, look, I don't want to eat an entire bag of cookies all at once moments. That was really the main goal. The weight loss I knew was going to come, sort of almost like a byproduct of it. That if we're eating healthier and we're exercising, the weight has to come off. We aren't going to gain weight if we're watching what we're eating and we're exercising on a regular basis. Simply will not happen. If you're eating properly and you're exercising, the weight will come off, because we have so much of it that we aren't at a normal weight. So I knew that was going to end up happening anyway. But, I've tried other things in the past. I've tried diets. I've tried joining I've joined gyms and paid for memberships with friends, and I've never gone. I've joined, I couldn't even tell you how many gyms I've actually joined. Really sort of get all gung-ho at the beginning of every year and say, well, this is the year I'm going to lose weight. I've tried diets. I've tried pretty much everything except for bulimia, because I don't like barfing. It's very dangerous and it's very gross. But, just like everybody else, I've tried so many other things. But this is what stuck. And it was just, it's 4 or 5 things that have to happen at the same time in order for me to do it. So it's not surprising that there are so many that really just sort of didn't stay with us through the distance. And it's not because they're weak. It's not because, they decided, oh, screw this, I want to stay fat. Some of them I'm sure have gone on and they've decided to do it privately. Coming on a public forum and saying, here I am, this is what I look like, and here's what I'm going to try to do, and here's what here's my goal. Especially when so many of our friends and family have heard it so many times before. It's rough. It really can be. And, of course, the inevitable, attacks on you, which have never happened to me, thank God. So you guys are great, thank you. But, you're always waiting for that to happen. So it can be jarring, when you first start out. But that's just what's worked for me. There are some that, going to the gym every single day, that's what's worked for them. There are some that, going vegan, that's what's worked for them. It's going to be different for everybody. And more importantly, the pace is going to be different for everybody. As I said, there are some people that have just plowed right over me. They've just passed any hope I ever would have had to lose that much weight that quickly. They've done incredibly well. They've had a lot of success with it. There are some people that are still struggling with it, that are, no matter how long they go, they're still, losing maybe half a pound or 1 pound a week. And so it's very, very slow going for them. But I think the important part to remember, and this is really sort of where I sort of started babbling for half an hour, the important thing, I think, really is when we look at it, is that the end result shouldn't really have a timetable set on it. For me, my original goal was to do this in a year. I know I'm not going to make it. I know that I won't reach my target goal probably for another 9 months, maybe another year from now. But I'm okay with that, because I know that inevitably it's going to happen. I just need to stay doing what I'm doing. I need to stick with it. So For some people, that's not going to be YouTube. For some people, it's not going to be MyFitnessPal. For some, it's not going to be the gym. It's going to be different for everybody. So if you're getting to a point, if you're one of those people that you're still looking for something that's, this is the one thing that's finally going to work, there isn't any one thing that is going to work. Not for everybody anyway. But hopefully you're going to find something at some point. If you keep looking, you keep trying, you're going to find something that is going to work. And the only thing that's going to work is something that you're going to stick with. And by not worrying about the time, I understand, believe me, I know what it's like when nothing is happening. You're not losing any weight. You're trying your damnedest and nothing's coming off. And you just think, okay, well, this obviously isn't working. It's really frustrating. But if you stick with it, if it's something that you can stick with, or that you will stick with, probably is the better thing to say, then you will start noticing a difference. And I think that's really the main thing. That, like, more than anything, if you're looking if someone was to say, what's the one thing that's going to guarantee success in weight loss? It's finding something that you're going to stick with. Not necessarily the thing that's going to be the fastest or the thing that's going to, I would have loved to have lost, 150 pounds in this year. Would have been great. But if I was going at that pace, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it. I needed to find something that I was going to stick with and something that I knew I could continue on. And I tried to keep this, the same pace so that others can follow along with me. Because the way I looked at it was, like, if I can stick with it, then pretty much anybody can. But the same thing is that, there are some people that are out there that are outweighed me by 100 or 200 pounds that, have lost well more than, or a lot more than I have. But they've stuck with it. They found what it was that helped them do it. For them, it's the gym or tracking or whatever it is. It could be group therapy. It could be Weight Watchers. It could be anything. If you find something that you know that you're going to be able to stick with long term, who cares if it takes you 5 years to get to your goal weight? Some people, it's going to take them 6 months. They're going to keep on going after that. It's going to be fine. Great. And I understand, like, how badly we want to lose that weight quickly. Because it's just, we hate ourselves so much, we want to make that change. But I think the most important thing is, losing the weight rather than losing the weight in a specific period of time. And if it takes you 2 years, if it takes you 3 years to lose all the weight that you want to lose and get to a healthy stage in your life, then let it take 2 or 3 years. Because everything that we've tried so far, we've tried losing it quickly. Whether it's through dieting or tracking or exercise or whatever it is that you've done, that you've tried and then you've stopped. And this goes for me as well, like the diets and the gyms and everything else that I've tried, that it's because usually it's not happening fast enough and it gets too hard because you think, well, in order for me to lose weight, I need to work harder at it and it's already tough. And so don't put a time limit on it. Don't look at it and say, okay, well, I need to be this weight in 6 months. I need to be this weight in a year. It's nice to have little goals. I've got one. I'd love to hit that 100-pound mark at the end of the year. But I keep saying over and over and over, I don't think I'm going to do it. But I know that I'm eventually going to hit that 100-pound mark. And then eventually I'm going to hit 125 and then 150. I know that it's going to happen. It might be another year from now, but it's going to happen at some point. And the main reason why I know that is because this is something I can stick with. And whether it's, like your exercise, we spent the past couple of weeks finding an exercise that we, for the lack of a better term, enjoy. The one exercise that we think, this is something that I can do for a long period of time. Like for me, it's the treadmill. For some people, it's going to be a stair climber. For some of you, it's going to be swimming. Oh, swimming would be great. If I had access, if I had a pool, if I had a private pool, maybe. I probably could get access to a pool. There are hotels. There is an aquatic center near me, but there's no way I'm going to go swimming in public. It's simply not going to happen. Fuck no, not going to do that. But if I had a private pool, then that would probably be my exercise of choice. And I think for a lot of us, it would be as well. The water is great. But for me, what I found that I stick with, what I find that I can do, every day, whether it's just walking or jogging or whatever, is my treadmill. Your exercise is going to be something different. And that's really what we spent a lot of our time doing over the past couple of weeks, is finding something that we do enjoy. Something that we know, okay, you know what? Whether it's weightlifting or, kickboxing or baby punching, whatever it is that you decide to do, that you think, this is something I can stick with. This is something that I can see myself doing for the next few months. Because it's, whether you enjoy it or not, it's something that you don't feel is a huge chore to do. So with any weight loss thing, whether it's the tracking, I mean, if some people aren't going to want to track your food, that's fine. For me, I know that I need to, because if I don't, I would just go over it every single day. All right, calm down. Cats are freaking out. And then they made me lose my train of thought. I'm going to try to not, oh, look at this. Okay, I'm going to try to not do this for another half hour. I guess my main message, for this would be, when you do find something, make sure it's something that you can see yourself doing long term. For me, I need to do this for the rest of my life, and I know that. But, I mean, I think that might be part of the reason why I've been able to pick stuff that I know I'll be able to stick with, and, that I have been able to keep on going, because it's not something I'm going to be able to say, okay, well, 2 or 3 years from now, I'm not going to need to worry about this anymore. The tracking is going to go on for quite a while longer. I know that. I know I'm going to have to keep tracking my food for a long time. The exercise is something I want to keep doing for the rest of my life. I want to be able to stay active all the time. Because now that I've got it started, I want to be able to say, okay, well, I want to be able to do more stuff. Before, it was simply a matter of I don't want to be out of breath when I wake up in the morning. And, I want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs without sweating. Now it's to a point where I think, I want to be able to, do a 5K. Like all the way through, just to be able to say that I've done it. And yes, I know it's sort of, egotistical and a little bit of bragging rights that would go along with that, but that's the main reason why I want to do it. Just so I can say, I can run a 5K. It's an accomplishment. You should feel proud. And there they go again. But whatever it is that you find, make sure it's something that you can stick with long term. And it may be something the complete opposite of what you're doing now. It might be something that you never even thought of. It might be something that you would think you absolutely despise doing. But you never know. That might be the one thing that, for whatever reason, whatever that odd little thing is, it lets you stick with it. And so you will start seeing that progression. You'll see yourself start to lose, whether you feel it in your clothes or whether you see it as a number on the scale, whether it's just a matter of being able to breathe easier and sleep better and your joints don't ache. You're going to start noticing these things. And as you progress and the months, the week turn into months and the months turn into years, we could just keep going that way. And the decade upon decade, eon upon eon, we'll keep going that way. Anyway, as time goes by, you're going to notice that, you're getting a little bit better at it, that your exercise is a little more efficient, that your eating is healthier in general. Like all these little things, and these are the things that we've done throughout the past year. I mean, we spent the entire year just learning to adapt. So by finding what it is that is going to get you to stick with it, that's the one thing that's going to help you lose weight. And look at the weight loss as sort of a byproduct of it. Because that way it's not a hard goal that you say, okay, well, I need to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. It was never the goal of this video, or this series, I should say, to get to that point where we were going to say, okay, well, now here's how you lose 20 pounds right away. This was a matter of us changing who we are at our core when it comes to food, and, whether it's overeating or junk food eating or emotional eating, any of those things. It was always just a matter of us saying we need to change how we respond and start being more active and start eating healthier and try to address some of the issues that we have. And the weight comes off, because of that. So if it's 2 years before I hit my actual goal, then it's 2 years. But it's still a big 2-year block that I've been losing weight. And more importantly, it's going to be a 2-year block where the weight I lose, I'm going to be keeping off because it's stuff that I can keep doing. So whether it's tracking food or going to meetings or going to the gym 6 times a week, whatever it is that you find, that's your one thing that you can do and that you enjoy doing, that you're going to stick with it. Even if it goes against everything else that you've tried in the past, then stick with it. Because over the long term, it's going to make a difference. That's what's going to get you to lose the weight. That's what's going to get you to get to a point where, and if it takes, a certain amount of time to get to that point where you start losing weight before you start looking at all the issues that sort of go along with why we eat the way that we eat, then do that. Everyone's going to have a different pace. They're going to approach things differently. You're going to, like for me, it was a matter of, okay, I'm going to start out with food first, then the exercise, because the food was really the main killer for me. For some of you out there, it's going to be exercise first, and then you'll deal with the food. It's going to be different for everybody. But don't give up looking. Don't just think because I failed at this first one, then nothing is going to work. And then go back to the old eating habits and beating yourself up and everything else. If something isn't working for you, change, adapt, try to find something that will. Try something brand new. Try something that you never thought was ever going to work. And for the most part, they aren't going to work. You're still going to have that same, this isn't working, I'm failing, I'm not losing any weight. It was like that for us for the first couple of months when we were doing this, that nothing seemed like it was working, but eventually it will. If it's something that you know that you're going to be able to stick with, then it will work. It has to. Because unless you're sticking with it, it's just going to buffets all the time, which is probably not a good idea. But in general, if you can find something that you can look at and say, you know what, long term, I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to be eating properly, I'm going to be doing regular exercise. It doesn't matter how you approach it. As long as you can get there, that's what you need to do. And it's going to be different for everyone. So for any of those that are out there that were doing the YouTube thing and have decided to go on your own, congratulations, go for it. I hope that you're having all the success in the world. For those of you that sort of stopped because you're beating yourself up because this, just like everything else, didn't work, try something different. You will eventually find something that is going to make it work. And for me, it was a mishmash of 4 or 5 different things, all of which were extremely embarrassing and extremely annoying and time-consuming, but it's worked and it's gotten to be a part of my life so that I'm kind of worried as to what's going to happen when it's all over. I don't know what to do with myself in 25 days. A little bit of a worry, but in general, look at that. Okay, well, 20 minutes. Better than half an hour, but not by much. And I probably have missed a few things I was supposed to say. But right now, I'm going to leave this here and not go on for another 10 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please vote the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.